Welcome back to JJ Detailing. So this week we have a Mercedes C-Class, which is a return customer. He had his previous car with me back in the day. We did a enhanced detail and some coatings on that back in the day. This one is in for a two-stage minor correction, coatings throughout, interior treatments and engine bay treatments. Currently on the wash prep stage, on the decontamination, arches, wheels, door jams, and then obviously paintwork. But I've just opened the bonnet and I thought I'd show you what I'm working with at the moment. Let me just quickly turn off the brush washer. You off, and this is what we're working with at the moment. So incredibly dirty engine bay. Every nook and cranny is covered, absolutely covered. So this is going to be a fun transformation. This is a new car to the customer, and he's looking to try and improve it and get it back to where it needs to be. And he can maintain it once it's all fully polished and coated. He's been a good customer, been very, very loyal. It's a very nice car. I've got a soft spot for the C-Classes, about 14, 15 plate. So yeah, let's crack on. Update on the Mercedes, in for a two-stage minor correction. Essentially, one cutting pass and then a refining pass. That's what he's booked for, but it's not really what he's getting. Super, super hard paint, super delicate in the sense that the defects are so scored. There's so much haze and swirls, lots and lots of defects to chase out. And we're trying to do the best we can with the paintwork we've got. It is very hard, so we're doing quite a heavy cutting pass and then a heavy refining pass. And actually, because it's super hard paint, it is coming out quite nice. So we move across into the panel. We just had a cutting pass done, and the clarity is incredibly different. The swirls and the haze are left behind, and you've just got crisp white paint. And surprisingly, it is cutting quite well. It is hard paint, but it is responding quite nicely. If you isolate the light even down into the dip, just seeing I've just done a 3-inch pass down there, but it's actually refining really, really nicely in the sense that there's no cutting haze. Really, there are some deep defects left in the paint. There's gonna be, it's not in for a major correction, it's in for enhancement, well not enhancement, a minor correction. It could do with maybe an extra 1 or 2 cutting passes to really kind of make the paint pop and just add that extra little bit, but it's that 10%, that 15% that we can't get out in a minor correction. That's where it goes to a major correction, and then you're chasing kind of perfection. But because it's white, realistically in the daylight, these kind of little marks around in the paint, you're not going to see them, and it's only because you're in this environment that you are going to see them. So it's definitely an improvement. So far done most of the bonnet, wing, door, rear door I'm on at the moment. I've got to do 2-inch and 3-inch up here, 3-inch across the top, and then just kind of check over it. And obviously we've still got the little swage line at the bottom as well. So cutting so far, we're on quite a tight deadline for this one. Quite a lot to do, so a lot of late nights I reckon this week. But yeah, let's crack on.
The way that you do. Is it love? Is it love? Is it love? Is it love?
Well, we're making progress. I believe this is, because it's Mercedes about 14, 15 plate, they did introduce a ceramic lacquer, which is supposed to be really hard. And the sense is that it's supposed to, from factory, prevent things like swirls and scratches happening. Well, evidently it doesn't, as you can see. But the problem is, it makes the paintwork super, super hard. So you have to cut back so much more to get any kind of result. So time-wise, I mean, the rear door You've got the 3 inch at the bottom above the green tape, and then 3 inch size, 3 inch at the top swage line, 3 inch all the way across the top of the door handle, and then the 5 inch in the middle. That's taken roughly about an hour and a half just to cut that door. So the results are definitely showing. If we scan across, much clearer. And for a 2-stage minor correction, this is kind of the results we want to see. So it's definitely improving. The problem is the time scale we're on. We've got roughly about 3-4 days. So I started this started it Sunday night. Managed to get it prepped, cleaned, got the bonnet cut, got the boot lid cut, and then moved on to the sides. And it's going very well. It's Monday afternoon now. I've got through till Wednesday night, which means I kind of need to get the cutting stages complete today, which is not too far off, because it's got the door and the wing, and then the front bumper and like the side skirts, and then a little bit on the rear bumper to go over. So it's not too bad, but I need to get the cutting done today, so tomorrow morning I can just do the refining stages, which will be a lot easier because it is refining quite nicely with the cutting. Because if you compare the amount of haze and swirls that's in the paint now, all those scratches and scores, we move across, it's a lot clearer. So all we're left with now, there is a tiny little bloom around the light, but that will take a very light refining stage just to knock that out, add the more gloss, more clarity, and then you can actually go onto the ceramics. And the ceramics is going to be a 2-layer system, so we have to get the base layer on Tuesday night, which is tomorrow night, and then Wednesday morning get the top layer on, and I have infrared lamps so we can bake the top coat. But the problem with that just means that we're kind of pushed for time as a correction, but this is only a 2-stage minor correction, so we're not pushing for perfection, we're not pushing for everything to be knocked out of the paint, but we're trying to remove as much as possible in a 2-stage, so a cutting pass and a refining pass. And to be honest, it's coming up very well. And definitely a big improvement. So the customer was a returning customer. I did his 5 Series, which was carbon black. That I only had in the single stage back in the day about 2-3 years ago. Just kind of lift a few some light scratches. But this is his new car. He's looking to try and get a much deeper result. Being white, a lot of people would say, what's the point? Because you can't see a lot of the swirls and scratches, but evidently you can, and you can see it a lot more than you would think. And the idea is once it's done, it's going to add so much more gloss and clarity that the reflection is going to be so white that it's going to be hard to even look at in a sense. And then obviously maintenance will be a lot easier, cleaning will be a lot easier, and things like that. The wheels are off, they're being ceramic coated, the glass has been coated, and the interior is having a light going over, leather clean and leather coat as well. So quite a lot to do. A few probably late nights tonight, late nights tomorrow night, just make sure we're ahead of time, make sure everything's going well. But so far I need to cut the door and the wing, and then we can look at the few little areas like the bumper and side skirts and stuff like that. So it's not too bad. Massively big results so far though, and I've just noticed how dirty the lens is. That's gross. Okay, let's crack on. We're on to refining. After a long heavy day of cutting, a late night getting all the defects as much as possible out of the paint, we're now on to refining stage. So door is looking 100 times better. This paint was surprisingly hard, and obviously with white people think you can't see the defects, but massive difference so far. So for refined the rear quarter, I've just done this door as a test panel because I had to cut a little bit heavier in this section with 300, where that was a lot more aggressive, so it churned the paint up a little bit more. But from then onwards, I've just done 2 refining passes on this door alone, and it's come up perfectly. So these doors, because they've used a different compound that wasn't as aggressive, I don't have to do two refining stages. And polish wise, I'm actually using, it's got polish on my hand, Geon Primer. So I've had this for a while. It's very, very soft and very gentle. It has got a little bit of a cut to it. Very, very good at refining. But it's actually got the Q2 COI2 properties in it. So the idea is, this is having a Geon certified only coating, which I will talk about later on, because that's some big news. The idea is that this is like a perfect base for prepping the paint, do a refining polish, prepping the paint for the ceramic coating. And the ceramic coating, essentially, they say you can lay it directly on top, but I always like to do a little bit of a panel white, just to make sure there's no excess oils or anything like that on there anyway. But it's looking 100 times better. So smash out the refining stages. It's got to get the wing done, this door done, pillar, and then the bumpers, and then work on the lovely gloss blacks that I'm not really looking forward to, because they are notoriously awful. But it's getting there. It's looking good. So that is Mercedes complete after a two-stage minor correction into a major correction in certain areas, topped off with ceramic coating to the wheels, to the glass, to the paintwork, interior as well, clean up and leather treatments on there. Huge improvement. The paintwork was incredibly hard. We believe it's actually the ceramic lacquer that Mercedes did from like 14 onwards, whatever year it was. Super hard lacquer to work with. So a lot of cutting to get rid of the defects, get rid of the marks and just scratches and swirls in the paint and restore the clarity to it. Followed up by a refining stage, so really adding the gloss, the luster, and really bringing the white out of the paint. Unfortunately, it's evening, there's no sun. Tomorrow's weather's looking a bit bleak as well, so it's not going to have any chance to get any outside shots. Unfortunately, customer is picking up tomorrow morning. It's currently 8:45 in the evening on Wednesday night. He was meant to collect tonight, but he's now picking up in the morning, so it's giving me extra time just to do the finishing touches, or toothpick rig around all the edges and all the nooks and crannies, make sure it's all good and golden, ready to go. Massive improvement. I did mention earlier on in the vlog that we're using a Geon ceramic coating on this. So around May time, maybe even earlier in the year, we were certified by Geon Sea Quartz Coatings, Geon's Quartz Coatings. They allow you to do the Duraflex and Moss Plus coatings, which are only certified for the area. So I'm happy to be part of the Geon family, as well as the CarPro family. So CarPro and Geon are my main two ceramic coating companies I work with. I do use other ones because I like to chop and change, like to get a varied mixture in there, because there's many other companies out there, but there's only some that I really kind of trust and I know that work, and they actually look after your customers and look after the details themselves, unlike some other big companies out there. So very happy about that. This has received 2-layer ceramic coating, so it's on a base layer, and then it's topped off in the morning with Geon Flexi, which is their Duraflex coating. And I have the infrared lamp system, as you've probably seen in the previous vlog. They allow to bake the coating on to ensure it's actually bonded to the paint correctly, and it cuts the cure time down, which is a benefit, but it also increases the durability as well. So it's an ideal thing to have. It's not a necessary thing to have for some coatings. They're not always needed, but for Duraflex, it's kind of recommended. But it's had plenty of time to cure, especially been left all the way through today. So the top layer went on this morning, cure out through the day, and then actually overnight as well, so it's not gone out till tomorrow morning, so plenty of time to cure. So that's Geon Duraflex, a phenomenal coating. Geon Duraflex, a certified only, credited only ceramic coating, which Geon have kindly allowed me to be part of their family under a lot of months of monitoring and things like that, to make sure that we were part of what they needed, what their requirements were. And I've been using Geon for a long time, to be fair. Same with CarPro. I've been using CarPro probably since I started back in the day, and with their Iron X products, their Reset products, everything back in the day were amazing for cleaning. And same with Geon. Geon I've been using for a fair while in my professional career, if you want to call it that. And to be able to do the ceramic coatings for both companies is brilliant. I am looking to do the finest training from CarPro, which is up in Scotland with Craig Hall. Shout out to Craig Hall at CarPro. I just need to arrange time to get up there, do the training, which will then allow me to offer CarPro Seaport's finest range, which is their top end range, because at the moment I'm their tier 2, I believe, and tier 1 is finest, and tier 2 is CarPro Professional Seaport's Professional, which is a 2-year coating, and then they've got a 3-year coating, 3 years plus for their finest. But Duraflex, absolutely amazing coating. It's 2 coatings in one. I say 2 coatings in one. It's 2 separate coatings. You've got base, and then you've got Flexi. Base and Flexi essentially make up Duraflex. So base, so you do a layer of base to allow that to harden, give that real hard self-cleaning barrier against the paint, to prevent things from eating into the paint, burning it, and just kind of causing problems. It does have a certain level of scratch resistant, but it's never really recommended to advise it is scratch resistant, because you can scratch a car by looking at it, theoretically. And this paint's very, very hard, so having this on as well is going to just make it even better. And then that's topped with Flexi, which is a super hydrophobic, super glossy, thick top coat. Very, very easy to work with, and it just provides that extra gloss, that beading effect, the hydrophobicness, the self-cleaning aspect as well. So essentially the car will look cleaner for longer, and it's just a massive benefit to have on a car. And I've just dropped it, that's good. It's alright, it's all good, glass balls. But yeah, so Geon Duraflex, Geon Moss Plus is their other one. I found Duraflex to be better for what I applied them and how I applied them, but massively big fan of the 2 brands, CarPro and Seacorp Professional. So the Mercedes is sitting waiting for collection. It will be collected tomorrow morning first thing, and then we're going to do a massive tidy up tomorrow, and probably sort my own van out, because it's an absolute nightmare. So if you've enjoyed this video, I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, share around with your friends. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer as much as possible. You can check out social media, just search JJ Detailing on Instagram and on Facebook, and you'll see updates throughout everything. That's all guys, see you later.